When you hear the word barbarian, what comes to mind? Probably a huge, muscular warrior, maybe with a horned helmet and a giant axe, right? But what if I told you the original barbarians weren't necessarily like that at all? The story of this word is way more interesting than you might think. It all starts with the ancient Greeks. They were very proud of their language and culture. To them, anyone who didn't speak Greek sounded like they were just saying bar. So, they came up with the word barbaros. To describe these foreigners, it wasn't about being savage or uncivilized at first. It was simply about language. You could be a brilliant poet or a skilled engineer, but if you didn't speak Greek, you were a barbaros. Then came the Romans. They adopted a lot of Greek ideas, including this one. But for the Romans, the term started to shift. As their empire grew, they encountered many different peoples on their borders, like the Goths, Vandals, and Huns. These groups often had different customs, lived in tribes, and sometimes fought against Roman legions. So, for the Romans, barbarian began to mean someone who lived outside their empire, and it's someone who was uncivilized from their perspective. This is where the idea of the savage barbarian really took hold. Roman writers described these groups as wild and violent to justify their wars and conquests. It was a classic case of us versus them. The fall of the Western Roman Empire, often blamed on these barbarian invasions, cemented this image in history. Suddenly, barbarians weren't just people who spoke differently. They were the destroyers of civilization. This negative image stuck around for centuries. During the Renaissance, scholars looked back at the glory of Rome and contrasted it with the darkness brought by barbarians. And later, European colonizers used the same logic, calling the peoples they encountered in Africa, America, and Asia barbarians or savages to justify their own actions. So, the next time you see a barbarian character in a movie or a game, remember its long and complicated history. It is a word that started with a simple language barrier and evolved into a powerful label used to define entire civilizations. It's a great reminder that history is all about perspective. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this little dive into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more. See you next time.